Today we will try to understand how a hydropower plant works, but first we need to understand where hydropower comes from. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Energy can only change from one form to another. If you observe accurately, you will understand that this hydropower means that hydroelectricity comes from the sun. That is, solar energy changes its form to generate hydroelectricity. But how? As a kid, you probably read about water cycles, when in the heat of the sun the water in the oceans or the water in a pond turns into steam. Then it rises in the sky, cools down and rains. And that rainwater collects as ice on the big mountains and comes back to the sea with the help of different rivers. So the constant cycling in the water is due to the heat of the sun. And that's why the sun is responsible for the currents that you see flowing continuously in the river. And when we generate electricity by using the current of the river, it is called solar power. For this reason, hydropower is a kind of renewable energy. Since the density of air is very low, this is the reason when we generate electricity with the help of windmills, then its efficiency is much less. But the density of water is much higher than that of air, which is why electricity is generated when water currents are used. Then it is much more efficient than windmill. At the same time, the process of generating electricity by using water currents is also very easy. You may think that the water stored in the reservoirs in the big dams is slowly released and the turbines are turned to generate hydroelectricity. That's right, but not completely right. The natural flow of the river is used to generate electricity by turning the turbine. But the reason for creating a reserve is that if there is a shortage of water in the river at any time, if the river dries up in the summer, the water stored in the reservoir generates electricity continuously. That means those reservoirs work like a buffer. You can also think of these large reservoirs as hydropower plant batteries. This means that the water stored in the river is used only when there is a shortage of water. In hot weather, river water is used to maintain the flow of the river. Again, when the rainy season comes, the rainwater reservoirs are recharged, and the more water there is in the reservoir, the higher the head pressure will be, and the higher the head pressure, the more energy can be generated. For this it is not possible to generate hydropower in any river. First of all, we have to see whether the natural current in the river is suitable or not. It is not possible to generate hydroelectric power in any river by constructing a reservoir or a large dam. For that the natural speed of the river has to be right. The water is then pumped into the turbine. The turbine is connected to the generator with a support. When the current of water turns his bike, electricity is generated with the help of a generator. How much electricity will be generated in a hydropower plant? It depends on three things. First, how high is the water level from the ground? Secondly, how much water is flowing through the tunnel per second, and thirdly, what is the efficiency of the turbine that is installed? Penstock descends from the dam and reaches the turbine through a pipe through the intake valve. These penstock pipes have trash racks that prevent water from reaching the turbine. Attached to the penstock is a search bank that is attached to control the exhaust pressure. As I said earlier, the turbine is connected to the generator with the help of a spout. Electricity is generated through generators. This power is passed through the transmission line by increasing the voltage with the help of step-up transformer. The water is then connected to its own stream by means of a drop tube after rotating the turbine. And this is how hydropower is created. Hydropower plants can be broadly divided into three categories: large hydro, small hydro, and micro hydro. Solar power plants that can generate more than 30 megawatts of electricity fall into large hydro. From 1 kilowatt to 30 megabytes falls in small hydro. Hydropower plants that generate less than 100 kilowatts of electricity fall into micro hydro. Hydropower is a source of renewable energy, and it is possible to generate electricity efficiently by using water currents in a very easy way. But just as it has a big positive aspect, it also has a lot of negative aspects. Hydropower plants bring destruction after destruction, and we see the results directly. This means that there is a lot of damage to bird species for wind turbines. But it does not catch our eye. And this is why people usually don't care much about this. But this is not the case. It directly affects people's lives. The direct effect of this is that the fish in the river is reduced. However, many can say that what else goes with the fish? But in all those areas, people eat fish as food, and there are many families who make a living by catching that fish. Moreover, the fish of a river play a big and important role in properly controlling the ecosystem of a river. For this reason, the biodiversity of the river has been ruined since the place where the eggs were laid. The effect falls on the water cycle for larger dams. Because the speed of the river water no longer flows naturally, people start controlling it. If the eggs are huge, for example, huge dams have been constructed in China. In all these cases, the mass of water stored in the reservoir is much higher. So much so that tectonic plates can cause problems for anyone. Even minor earthquakes can occur. With all these problems in mind, many future dam designs are being changed. Arrangements are being made to make such big dam fee letters. The national fish can cross the dam with the help of those fish letters. Also, the river continues to flow with the polio water as the river continues to flow. But where the eggs are made, the river silt slowly accumulates at the bottom. And an attempt is being made to solve this problem. Maybe in the future the dams will do less damage to the environment than the current dams. But it cannot be said that future's hydropower plants will not harm the environment at all. Maybe the amount of damage will be much less.